Hi, guys, and welcome back to another Colorful Keto with Dori, episode 2 of how the keto diet changed my life. So, I'm going to give you guys a moment to get signed on. Today, we're going to talk again about some of the ways the keto diet has changed my life. And today, we're going to focus specifically on living my life without pain medication. So, I'm going to pull this up on my second phone without any volume so that I can see your comments as they come in, because I'm really hoping that we can get a good chat going. I'd love to hear with you guys what some of the benefits you have seen and some of the medications you don't have to take anymore. So I'm going to turn on my live chat and we are ready to go. So I guess we need to do a little backstory first. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what my life was like before when I was morbidly obese and how much pain medication I was taking, because it might surprise you and it's not a healthy way to live. So if you're new here and you don't know me, at my highest weight, I was 290 pounds at 5'5.5". That's a lot of weight for my body to carry. And I have to admit that I didn't. My body did not manage carrying that weight well. I was in a lot of pain all of the time. My joints hurt. I had migraines. I was sick all of the time. But the main reason, oh, Miss Michelle, hello, my darling. It's so nice to see you all. Thank you for sharing. Love you, darling. When is your next coffee live? I would love to come and join you for that one. Your last one, I missed it. I did catch the replay, but I missed it. So today we're going to talk a little bit about before, what my life was like before. And this is a hard one for me to talk about because I didn't admit these things to very many people, and for a reason, because it was terrible to live that way. Okay, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central. Awesome. That is 5 p.m. Mountain. I am there, girly girl. I am there. We're doing our live with Dr. Sereno on Tuesday this week as well at 2 p.m. Mountain. So if you happen to be around for that, we're going to chit chat with Dr. Sereno on Tuesday. I'm super excited. Okay, let's start with the hard part. Let's talk about what my everyday was like. I couldn't stand on my feet in the morning. That's where we have to start. When I woke up in the morning, my legs and my feet hurt so bad that I couldn't stand on them. It wasn't possible. The pins and needles were so painful. I would sit on the end of my bed and I would cry for about 20 minutes. And at the end of that 20 minutes, I would crawl my way along the wall to the bathroom where I would sit for another 20 minutes and just cry and rock and wait for my body to adjust so that I could stand on my feet. And once I could stand on my feet, those were my first pain medications of the day. And you start with a small amount, and then it becomes more and more and more. And by the end, I was taking 3 Tylenol 4 times a day, 3 to 4 times a day. So on a bad day, I would take 16 extra strength Tylenol just to get through the day. More if I had a headache or a migraine or if I had something else going on. And at the time, all of my friends were in the same situation. We were the same size. We all went through that same pain every day, and it seemed normal to me. It was just my everyday. I had lived that long for as long as I could remember. I would say my physical pain didn't start until I was in my mid to late 20s. In my earlier 20s, I carried my weight very gracefully. very gracefully. It wasn't painful to me. It wasn't uncomfortable to me. It didn't really limit my movement until I got older. When I was pregnant with my son, I still could move around. I could get up. I could get down off of the floor. When he was a newborn baby, I could get down on the floor and get up on my own. But by 5, 6, 8 years later, I couldn't. I could not manage the physical pain every day. And it puts you in a place that's bad. It's hard to be a good, loving person to the people around you when you just hurt so bad all day, every day. And I accepted that that's my life. That's how it is. There isn't any answer to that other than medication. And I got through every day like that. I had my weight loss surgery 8 years ago when my son was 13. And I don't regret it. A lot of people ask me if, being that I'm keto now, would I go back and not have my surgery? And I wouldn't, because keto wasn't an option for me back then, and I was dying. I was slowly dying. I wasn't old enough to be in that position, and I was only 10 years away from my mother's first heart attack, another 5 years away from her first stroke, and I had to make a decision in my life, and I had to do something, and dieting wasn't working for me. Why didn't it work for me? I spent my whole life doing an ultra low fat, high carb diet. Hello, hands up if that was you too. If every recommended diet you ever did was super, super calorie restricted, super, super low fat. And my doctor told me things like, fill up on rice. It will expand in your stomach and make you feel more full. Eat plain popcorn. You can have up to 4 cups of popcorn. Popcorn is diet food. So when I look back now on why I never succeeded with diets, did I fail or was I doing the wrong diet? It's really hard to look at myself as a failure all these years later, knowing what I know now about food that I didn't know then. So many people are struggling and they're not failing. They're not lacking in motivation. They're not lacking in self-control. They don't understand food. The same as I didn't understand food. You cannot blame someone for what they don't know. You know what you know when you learn it, and there's nothing we can do about the past. So moving forward, my goal is to help other people figure out what is the best way to eat for them, what makes them feel healthy, what works, what's sustainable, what can you keep maintaining year after year, month after month. Can you find a way to eat that makes you happy, but also makes you feel amazing? And I believe that you can, because I found it for myself. I found it by accident. I had no idea that keto was going to change my life the way that it has. Miss Michelle says, me too. It's so difficult. And I struggle. I think we all struggle with blaming ourselves, with our failure for over the years. All those years I spent sick and unhealthy and too heavy to move around. I can't blame myself for those years. I can't get those years back. But what I can do is live my life in a way every day now that makes me happy, that makes me feel good, in a way that's not feeding my food addiction. You don't get to 290 pounds if you don't have a lot of issues with food. Like, Hands up. It just doesn't happen. You don't get to that state of medical distress unless there is something going on. So keto will not solve all of your problems, but for me, it's helped me so much in having a livable life, having a quality of life that is sustainable, to be able to get up every day and be happy to see the day and start a new day and share as much as I can with you guys. That is the gift that I have for the life that I went through before. And we all have that option to change our lives and live differently. And it starts with what you feed your body, how you feed your brain. So much of that I didn't realize. I know it sounds silly to say I didn't realize feeding my body garbage would make me feel like garbage. But at the end of the day, I didn't realize that feeding my body garbage is what got me there. I was so wrapped up in my own delusions about my weight, my own excuses about my weight. I'm big boned. I'm a big girl. I come from a big family. I'm just meant to be this way. I've tried everything and nothing works. All of those excuses will eventually run out. We can invest in our health now, or we can invest in our health later, but eventually it's going to have to happen. You have to make a choice. I had to make a choice, and that is a very individual decision. No one can rush you. No one can tell you it's something that you have to do. You need to want it for yourself. But the start of that is believing it's possible. And that's why I'm out here sharing this story with you guys. Trust me, I don't want to get on my camera and tell people that I was so big that I couldn't move around, that I couldn't walk on my own feet. That's humiliating. Humiliating. And when I look back on how much of my life I wasted in that state, the years that I wasn't doing activities with my son because I was too big for those things to be comfortable, right? Michelle says, right, the last weight I logged was 225, but I didn't step on the scale for another 8 months, so who knows? And that's 90% of us. Most of us don't even have an accurate start weight, because once you get to that point where you see that scale at a number that is no longer acceptable to you, the only thing you can do is ignore it and pretend that it's not like that. That's it. I don't have any other excuse to say I would look in myself in the mirror and I didn't see a size 26. I deluded myself. I would focus on my face. I would focus on my hair. I started to only compare myself against other plus size women. Because you know what? I might be fat, but I'm a smoking 9 fat girl. And I decided that, you know what, anything below the boobs just brought down my average and it didn't matter. And I surrounded by myself with people who enabled me to live that way. And I hate to use that word because I do feel like enable is a negative word. But at the end of the day, I didn't want people around me who were questioning my health. I didn't want people around me who said that I wasn't healthy. I only kept around me people who reinforced my ideal of myself. I was fat, but I wasn't that fat. I mean, I was happy and healthy and loved. That was my favorite thing to repeat to myself over and over again. You're happy, you're healthy, you're loved. But I was not happy. I was certainly not healthy, and I was not loved in a healthy fashion. I was not loved by people who were invested in my long-term health and what was best for me. So I really did have to change a lot of things about my life, from how I view myself to how I associate with other people to not relying on medication every day just to manage. Just to manage. I can't even remember the last time I took a Tylenol, to be honest with you. I've been keto now for, it'll be 3 years in April. So about 2 years and 8 months, somewhere around there. And I don't get headaches like I used to anymore. I don't suffer from migraines. I don't suffer from debilitating depression that makes me unable to get out of bed. And I don't have to live every day in pain anymore. And if that is you, if that's where you're living, I want you to know it's not forever. It doesn't have to be that way. There is life past pain medication. There is life after obesity. And there is life after punishing yourself for being a failure, because you didn't fail. You just didn't have the right information. So I am going to sign out for today. And I think that next week we're going to talk about IBS. Now, it's a TMI topic. I totally understand if you don't want to tune in for next Friday, but I feel like it's a really important topic to cover. I never realized IBS was a thing. I just thought everybody cries and holds a puke bucket when they go to the bathroom. So next week, that's what we're going to talk about. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And please let me know in the comments, what has keto helped you with, and what other topics would you like to cover in this live stream feature. It is exclusive to YouTube, and this is where we will be every Friday talking about how the keto diet has changed our lives. So let's get our song back. And I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Do something for you. Have a bath. Get yourself a treat. Color your hair. Paint your toes. Do something just for you this week that makes you feel amazing and reminds you you're not a failure. You just didn't know. And that's it. I love you guys. Have an awesome day.